Fear changes people. Today, Rashta tells a lie she can never take back. Let's continue the remarried empress. The next morning, Navier walks to the palace courtyard with Kosair and Marquise Faring. It has been a long time since her brother returned to the capital. She asks whether he has been resting well and tells him she'll visit him soon. Then she turns to Marquise Faring. "How have you been?" The Marquis can only sigh. Instead of answering, he complains about Kosair's behavior. The remark earns a quiet laugh from Navier. Some things never change. As they continue walking, Navier suddenly stops. Rashta is sitting just ahead of them. The moment she notices the group approaching, she stands and walks over. After greeting the Empress, she immediately brings up the gift from the baby shower. She has been told that the ceremonial sword carries a terrible meaning. Kosair's expression immediately darkens. Navier, however, remains perfectly composed. It will only be offensive to those who are greedy. The answer catches Rashta off guard. She insists the meaning is terrible regardless. The Empress made a fool of her in front of everyone. Even so, she has decided to turn the other cheek. No matter how much the Empress belittles her or looks down on her, she will endure it. Navier meets her gaze without the slightest change in expression. Then it seems you think rather highly of yourself, if you consider the truth to be an insult. Rashta immediately defends herself. She reminds Navier that she is the Emperor's woman. If she doesn't hold herself in high regard, wouldn't that mean His Majesty has poor judgment? Navier ignores the remark. Instead, she asks a single question. "Are you saying you only have value while His Majesty loves you?" For the first time, Rashta has no answer. She quickly brushes the question aside. Whatever insult the Empress throws at her, she will endure them for the sake of her child. Navier frowns. Her child? What does she mean? Rashta answers as though it has already been decided. His Majesty told her there is a strong chance the Empress is infertile. If that happens, the Empress will adopt her child. Navier's calm expression finally breaks. "Excuse me?" Before she can say another word, Kosair steps forward. "What the hell did you just say?" Rashta immediately shrinks back. Like a child trying to defend herself, she protests. "The Empress started it." But before anyone can respond, a sharp pain shoots through her stomach. She gasps and instantly grabs her belly. Navier immediately catches Kosair by the arm. There is no point. She quietly pulls him away. Behind them, Rashta cries out in pain before collapsing to the ground. Kosair glances back. He isn't convinced. To him, it looks like another performance. His anger only grows. He turns back one last time. "If you ever talk about my sister being infertile or say she raised a child again, I'll rip your tongue out." Rashta's ladies-in-waiting rush to her side. As they help her sit up, she looks toward Navier. Her eyes silently plead for help. Navier notices, but there is nothing she can do. The palace doctor will arrive soon, and Rashta is already surrounded by people rushing to her aid. So without another word, Navier continues on her way. Rashta is quickly taken back to her room where the palace doctor examines her. Fortunately, neither she nor the baby is seriously harmed. Still, the doctor warns that she must avoid unnecessary stress. Otherwise, there is a chance she could miscarry. After the doctor leaves, Sovieshu remains by her side. He gently reminds Rashta to be more careful around Kosair. Everyone knows the trophy heir has a fiery temper. Rashta looks at him innocently. careful about what I say? Sovieshu explains that several people overheard her saying unpleasant things to the Empress, including calling her infertile. Those remarks are exactly what provoked Kosair. Rashta immediately denies it. She insists she never called the Empress infertile. Instead, she claims the Empress started the argument by calling her worthless. Sovieshu listens quietly, but he doesn't seem entirely convinced. Navier has always been careful about how she conducts herself in front of others. Openly calling someone worthless doesn't sound like something she would do. Rashta notices the hesitation in his eyes. A wave of fear washes over her. What if Sovieshu begins to see her as a terrible person? What if he stops loving her? What if he throws her out of the palace? Or worse, what if they let her baby stay but force her to leave alone? Almost instinctively, she places a hand over her stomach. There is no one else who can protect her and her child. At that moment, something shifts inside Rashta. She looks back at Sovieshu. Her voice is calm. I never called the Empress infertile. A brief silence fills the room. Then she adds, Kosair shoved me. Later, after leaving Rashta's room, Sovieshu speaks privately with Marquis Karl. Kosair trophy is no longer permitted to enter the imperial palace. Marquis Karl hesitates. Lord Kosair is the Empress' brother and the future Duke Trophy. Under the circumstances, banning him from the palace is a surprisingly lenient punishment. Perhaps Lord Kosair expected as much when he confronted Rashta, but that isn't what stays on Marquis Karl's mind. Earlier, Sovieshu listened to Rashta's accusation, yet he never looked completely convinced. This reminds Marquis Karl of another incident, the day the Emperor instructed him not to dispose of Viscount Landry's report. Just like then, Sovieshu isn't willing to accept everything at face value. Meanwhile, Kosair is furious. He can't let the confrontation go. Do they seriously expect him to walk on eggshells around that woman? Navier understands exactly why he's upset, but she also knows anger alone won't solve anything. She reminds him of what happened to Duchess Tuania. Rashta isn't simply the Emperor's mistress. She is clever enough to make herself a dangerous opponent. Navier isn't asking Kosair to walk on eggshells around her. She simply doesn't want him going out of his way to clash with Rashta. It will only create more trouble, and in the end, she will be the one caught in the middle. Kosair reluctantly lets the matter drop for now. Later that evening, Kosair and Marquis Farang share a drink at the Trophy residence. Kosair slams his cup onto the table. This is absurd! If I had really shoved her, there's no way she'll walk away without a single injury. Marquis Farang nods. He witnessed the entire confrontation. Kosair never laid a hand on Rashta. All he did was step toward her. Kosair lets out a frustrated sigh. He promised his parents he would control his temper, not for his own sake, but because every reckless decision he makes will eventually hurt Navier. That is the only reason he holds himself back. After a long silence, Kosair speaks again. Once Rashta gives birth, he is certain she would turn her attention to Navier. He can't wait for that to happen. He has to move first. He will find Rashta's weakness before she finds his sister's. Then he looks at Marquis Farang. Since he's no longer allowed inside the palace, someone else will have to investigate. Farang blinks. Why are you dragging me into this? Kosair can't help but smirk. Fortunately for him, Farang has already started asking questions while Kosair spent time with Navier. Farang quietly gathers information around the capital. One rumor keeps appearing. Before arriving at the imperial palace, Rashta was a runaway slave. The story even points to Viscount Loteshu. He once publicly claimed Rashta escaped from his estate. But after meeting privately with the emperor, he suddenly changes his story. Now he insists he mistook her for someone else. Faran isn't optimistic. If the emperor personally intervened to bury the rumor, it won't be easy to uncover the truth. Kosair reaches into his pocket and gives Faran precious gems. They can't be traced back to us. The gems were originally acquired by thieves, perfect for paying people to investigate. Then Kosair smiles. There is one more thing I need you to do. Faran lets out a sigh. Somehow, he has a feeling he isn't going to like whatever comes next. Far away in the Western Kingdom, McKenna still hasn't given up on finding Heinrey a queen. As he prepares another meeting, Heinrey glances at the schedule. Who is Melanie? McKenna answers without hesitation. She is the 12th candidate to be considered as Queen Consort. Heinrey lets out a quiet sigh. Isn't it time you gave up? McKenna shakes his head. I'll give up when you finally choose someone. He reminds Heinrey that waiting too long will only make things more difficult. The longer Lady Krista continues acting as queen, the harder it will be for the future Queen Consort to establish her place in court. Heinrey listens, but his thoughts are elsewhere. Instead of discussing marriage, he begins talking about creating a new order of knights, one whose greatest requirement will be loyalty. If he's going to create a new title, he wants it to become one every knight dreams of earning. Just then, voices drift through the closed door. You are not queen anymore, Lady Krista. Miss Melanie boldly confronts Henry's sister-in-law. Lady Krista is not the king's mother, nor she is an unmarried princess. If she continues living in the palace while acting as queen, the future queen consort will undoubtedly feel uncomfortable. McKenna can't help feeling a little sorry for Lady Krista. Still, he has to admit Miss Melanie's boldness is admirable. A moment later, Heinrey and McKenna enter the room. Heinrey casually admits that he overheard the end of the conversation. Miss Melanie raises a valid concern, but it isn't her concern to worry about. Understanding his meaning, Miss Melanie quietly bows and excuses herself. Once they are alone again, McKenna looks at Heinrey in disbelief. He has rejected another candidate without giving her the slightest chance. Heinrey simply feigns ignorance. He can't very well ask his sister-in-law to leave the palace. McKenna sighs. He knows that isn't the real reason. The truth is, Heinrey still can't get Navier out of his heart. Heinrey doesn't deny it. The kingdom does need a queen. But first comes the coronation. Then the reforms he wants to make. Marriage can wait. McKenna looks at him seriously. If you want Navier to become your queen, you have to go to war. War may one day become inevitable, but no one in the Western Kingdom would welcome a queen gained that way. Heinrey says nothing. Instead, he picks up his pen. Not long afterward, a bluebird arrives at the Eastern Empire carrying a letter from Heinrey. As Navier unfolds it, she finds him complaining about McKenna once again. No matter how much he objects, McKenna refuses to stop searching for a queen consort. Then, the letter becomes more personal. Heinrey admits everything would be so much easier if Navier were his queen consort. He wishes she were his queen consort. Watching nearby in his bird form, McKenna freezes. It isn't because Heinrey likes Navier. He has known that for a long time. It's because Heinrey has finally put those feelings into writing. Meanwhile, Navier simply smiles. To her, it sounds like another one of Heinrey's playful jokes. Toward the end of the letter, Heinrey invites her to attend his coronation as the head of the Eastern Empire's delegation. Before writing her reply, Navier's attention shifts to the little bluebird perched nearby. She reaches out, hoping to pet it. You seem surprisingly human. The bird quickly hops away and chirps in protest. Navier laughs. You are the complete opposite of Queen. After checking her schedule, she realizes she can likely attend the coronation. She writes back that she would try to arrange everything, then hands the reply to the little blue messenger. Moments later, it disappears into the sky. As Navier closes the window, she notices an unusual commotion outside her room. Stepping into the hallway, she asks her ladies in waiting what happened. One of them quickly explains someone has been mixing abortion medicine into Rashta's meal. The palace doctor has confirmed that Rashta unknowingly consumed it several times. Fortunately, Rashta is safe. The baby has become weaker, but it is expected to recover. Navier falls silent. Who would do such a thing? Then another thought crosses her mind. Soviet would undoubtedly investigate, and she has a feeling she will soon be called in for questioning. Someone has secretly tried to harm Rashta's unborn child, but who would go that far? To be continued. What do you think? Do you believe Rashta lied only to protect her child? Or was this the moment she truly began to change? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next chapter of the story. And as always, thank you for listening to Manga with May. Until next time.